I was a bit surprised with the feedback I got from a recent video looking at AI generative fill from a camera club's point of view. While not generating hundreds of responses, there were far more than I normally see. Now, this suggests that there are some concerned people who may think that AI is the end of the photographic world as we know it. I don't personally subscribe to that view because we know how these technological advances tend to play out. The fear and the threat that people perceive usually proves to be exaggerated. After all, we survived the digital revolution, didn't we? I can recall almost being chased out of the camera club just for mentioning the word digital. And all those who shouted the loudest and the longest back then are all now contented digital photographers. Most, if not all, club rules state that the image has to be all your own work, and that rule should be enough to cope with AI. The problems may arise if a new, stricter rule is put in place, because policing those rules is going to be almost impossible. Is it far-fetched to imagine a scenario where any image or part of an image that's used in a final composite has to be provided to the rule adjudicators in any club? Now, this sounds okay at first glance. If we have nothing to hide, then where's the issue? Well, perhaps that the new rules could easily prove to be overburdensome. Who in the camera club will be nominated to make the decision that a member's image is eligible or not? Hands up all those who think that this is going to work in all scenarios, with everyone delighted with the decisions. Would a 7-image montage mean that all 7 images used would need to be provided, and who has the enthusiasm or the time for this level of rule checking? And I would suggest that anyone who does have that enthusiasm should be the last one ever given that authority. While trying to apply strict and fair rules that can be policed, we could very easily make competitions more trouble than they're worth. We might even alienate some members, and that's also not a good idea, given that most clubs struggle to attract them in the first place. Copy and paste with image editing has been my bread and butter for years, perfecting techniques to do this effectively in Photoshop. I've used these techniques for creative reasons, but mostly just to balance exposure, colour and clarity. AI tools within Photoshop and Lightroom have been in use for quite some time, and none of their use has been considered a problem. AI is helping us in Adobe Camera Raw and Lightroom to balance exposure, colour, clarity, noise removal, and again, that is all considered legitimate. With AI generative fill, content could be effectively added to our images which we didn't shoot ourselves. Now, seeing the difference between an AI inserted person, as an example, or one you've cut and pasted yourself, is very near impossible. So either we have to accept the pledge and honesty of our members, or put in place rules that have the potential to make competitions more trouble than they're worth. I suspect that in the fullness of time we may be able to ask AI generative fill to put a man walking a dog into our seascape as an example, but maybe we'll be able to provide that image, the image that contains the man and the dog we wish to use. At least our conscience would be clear, but that still doesn't address the policing of rules. I have a couple of quotes which I'd like to read to you. The first is under the heading of Automated Curation and Selection. Quote, "Camera clubs typically have a selection process for submitted photographs to ensure a certain level of quality and adherence to the competition rules. AI algorithms can assist in automating this curation process by analysing various factors such as composition, subject matter, and technical quality. By using AI-powered tools, camera clubs could efficiently sift through a large number of entries, narrowing down the selection for judging and exhibition." Unquote. Now there's an idea which I confess that I never thought of, where AI could be used to actually make the competitions perhaps a little more fair, taking out the biases of human decision. The second quote is under the heading of Intelligent Scoring and Ranking. Quote, "AI can also play a role in scoring and ranking photographs in camera club competitions. Traditionally, judges evaluate images based on their subjective opinions, expertise, and established criteria. However, AI models can be trained on larger datasets of winning images to learn patterns and characteristics that tend to be favoured by judges. These models can then provide automated scores or rankings based on their analysis, which can be used as an additional reference for judges or even as an alternative to human evaluation." Unquote. This last quote suggests the possibility of eliminating judges completely and allowing AI to determine the order of merit, especially when the competition is all that matters. However, most of the time it's not just the competition angle, but it's the critique and the constructive guidance that we may still want to hear. But this idea does open up some interesting thoughts. Maybe learned people from within the club could give the constructive comments, but maybe we could use AI algorithms based on a much wider sample of what defines a winning image and also to rank them for marking. Now, what may be interesting to you about those last two quotes is that they actually came from ChatGPT AI. I asked the question of the AI website, discuss AI's impact on camera club competitions. It's a little ironic that the most thought-provoking ideas regarding AI in our photography came from AI itself. And I'll leave you with those thoughts. I'll see you next time.